So necrosis is what? It is an accidental, uncontrolled cell death which is caused by severe injury leading to the loss of membrane integrity, leakage of cellular components, which causes inflammation, right? Then what are the causes? There are n number of reasons via which we can have necrosis. It could be lack of blood supply, it could be extreme temperature, the burning sensation which I told you, it could be any chemical agent, strong acid, uh, alkalis, toxins, drugs. It can be infection, so any bacteria, virus, fungi attacking, any radiation, severe depletion of ATP. So any reasons could be, any of the cause can, any of these factors can cause necrosis, right? Then type of necrosis, if we talk about, so as you have coagulative necrosis, liquefactive necrosis, causaceous fat necrosis, fibrinoid necrosis, and gangrenous necrosis. Necrosis is, key points are that it is a regulated and a very passive process, does not require ATP. It causes depletion in ATP. It occurs in the living tissue. It is always associated with inflammation. Over here, the cells would, or the area where the necrosis happened, that particular area is going to showcase inflammation. Then cells are going to swell and burst, right? Then what are the general features? First is uncontrolled accidental cell death. Then you have energy independent. It affects a group of cells, not a single cell. Then cell swelling happens. Then you have rupture of the plasma membrane and organelle membranes. Leakage of the cellular content causes inflammatory responses. And over here, what are the changes? So pycnosis, then karyonexia, and then karyolysis. So what are all of these? We have the types also over here. I'll show you. So what is happening over here? You can see. You'll see over here pycnosis, and then karyonexia, and then karyolysis. So pycnosis is, I think, when you have the plasma, the cytoplasmic content getting degraded or getting ruptured altogether. Nucleus shrinking and then becoming darkly stained, so that is pycnosis. Then you have karyonexia, in which you have the pycnotic nuclear fragments, these nuclear fragments formation with the condensed format. You have karyonexia being there, and karyolysis is your nuclear material dissolving due to the DNA degradation, and the nucleus getting, or the nuclear envelope, or your complete nucleus getting disappearing from the segment. And finally you have this inflammation in the body, because this content is going to gets dispersed in the surrounding region. So repeating it again, pycnosis is when you have your nuclear content getting condensed, or we can say the nucleus shrinking because of the clumping of your chromatin material, chromatin content. Karyonexia, nexus, over here, this is nothing but pycnotic nuclear fragments that we have. And karyolysis is that when you have the nuclear material dissolving because of the DNA fragmentation that is happening in, right? So complete DNA fragmentation, degradation, and your nucleus getting completely disappearing, right? So these three terminologies are there. Remember, how does the nuclear changes occur? First you have your chromatin condensing and clumping happening, then you have pycnotic fragments formed, and then you have the final degradation happening. So this could again be a part C or part B question anyway, because this time they have elaborated the term necrosis in the syllabus, because till now there was no term of necrosis. We used to just read it in terms of the definition, but now there is a proper detailed content added for your necrosis part. So what is necrosis? It is an accidental, uncontrolled cell death which is caused by severe injury leading to the loss of your membrane integrity and the leakage of your cellular content that we are talking about. So we were discussing about what is necrosis. So it is an accidental, uncontrolled cell death, right? Now let's talk about the type of necrosis. First one is coagulative necrosis. So in this, it is the most common type, right? Over here, the architecture of the dead tissue is preserved for a few days. It is common in solid organs. An example is myocardial infarction, renal infarction. So you get to see this type of complete dead tissue architecture showcasing. So it is the most common type where you have, this is called as your coagulative necrosis. Then you have liquefactive necrosis, in which enzymatic digestion of the dead cells is there, right? Tissue is converted into liquid viscous mass like this, and then it is common in brain and the various bacterial abscesses. Example, when there is bacterial infection, a brain infection, you'll get to see liquefactive necrosis happening in. Then you have third type. So in this, you get to see a cheese-like appearance. So over here, you have granular amorphous debris that are enclosed by granulomatous inflammation, right? So over here, it is very common in tuberculosis. Example, tuberculosis lesions being here, right? So there occurs a cheese-like appearance in this segment. Then you have fat necrosis. So it is due to the enzymatic actions on the fat cells, right? Then over here we have saponification being there. So there occurs formation of soap-like segment. For example, acute pancreatitis, trauma to adipose tissue, breast, etc. Fibrinoid, there is deposition of fibrin-like immune complexes in the blood vessels, right? Over here, it is seen in immune-mediated condition. For example, rheumatoid arthritis, etc. Then you have gangrenous, so it occurs in limbs due to ischemia. It may be wet, dry, or gas gangrenous. So peripheral vascular diseases. So this is how your limbs look like when they are undergoing, or when there is gangrenous necrosis happening. So all of these can be seen in the body in the human being at one stage or the other, depending upon any of the causative factors available. Coagulative is the most common type. Liquefactive is there. Caseous is there, fat necrosis, fibrinoid necrosis, and the last one. All of the images are very self-explanatory. I hope all of these things are clear. Quickly go through this, then we are going to discuss about the morphological changes that occurs, what is the difference between necrosis and apoptosis, and all these things. Then if you look into the morphological changes, so first is onchosis, that is your cell will swell. You'll see the organelles swelling. You'll see the loss of microvilli being there like this. Second step is that you'll see the membrane rupturing happening in. So plasma membrane would rupture. There would be the leakage of contents. Third step, you will be seeing the nuclear content changing in. So pycnosis, karyonexis, and karyolysis. Pycnosis is nothing but your chromatin content clumping together, because of which we get to see the fragments being there, condensation of nuclear content being there. Karyonexis is nothing but your pycnotic fragments converting into small vesicles, and then karyolysis is complete degradation of the nuclear content, and then you get to see the inflammation. So as a result of this, there occurs release of intracellular content being there, and you'll see the inflammatory cell infiltration being there in the body, right? So remember about the morphological changes. That then why does it occur? Like, what is the significance? So it's a pathological condition. It is not in the normal physiology. There is no like developmental property or developmental significance to necrosis. It helps in removal of severely damaged cell. It can cause inflammation and damage to surrounding tissues as well. And excessive necrosis can lead to organ failure and the death of the individual as well. Now, examples: heart attack, stroke, tuberculosis, acute pancreatitis, dry rheumatoid arthritis, dry ganglion, and gas ganglion. So all of these are the various example. Heart attack is coagulative necrosis. That is when you have this block, kind of like a proper solid block kind of a segment formed in, which can cause a proper heart attack, a blockage in the entire vesicle. Stroke is liquefactive necrosis. Then tuberculosis can cause caseous necrosis. See over here, in which you have your like cheese-like appearance structure in the lung area, or cheese-like segment in the lungs area, and all the other examples. So it is uncontrolled pathological death of cell, where the loss of membrane integrity is there, leakage of cellular content is there, inflammation is there, but there is removal of severely damaged cell occurring. Although it is helping the body only to get rid of damaged part, but it has some implications as well. For example, damage, like for example the inflammation being shown, and because of inflammation you might experience some pain in the body as well, right, in that specific area, right? So remember about this. Now what's the major difference between necrosis and apoptosis altogether? So necrosis is nothing but accidental and uncontrolled. Apoptosis is programmed and controlled. Necrosis does not require ATP. Apoptosis requires a proper ATP level. Then cells involved, in case of necrosis, group of cells are there. In apoptosis, single cells can undergo apoptosis. In necrosis, there is swelling up of the cell, onchosis, and in case of apoptosis, we'll get to see the shrinkage of cell happening in. Then plasma membrane over here ruptures and there is loss of integrity, and in fact over here it can form blebs as well, the membrane bleeding that we talk about. Nuclear content. In necrosis, you have pycnosis, you have karyonexia and karyolysis being there. Over here, chromatin condensation and direct fragmentation. Inflammation is there in necrosis. In apoptosis, no inflammation. Physiological role, pathological over here, and over here it is physiological. That means in case of apoptosis, the role that it play is for development, is for proper functionality and everything. In case of your necrosis, the role is pathological because of any specific injury, any specific conventional segment happening in. ATP requirement is not there, phagocytosis is not there in necrosis, but in apoptosis, both of these segments, ATP requirement and phagocytosis, both of these things would occur in, right? So this is a detailed portion of what is necrosis, what are the type of necrosis, and like changes, differences between necrosis and apoptosis and everything. I hope this is clear. Now, what is the mechanism that we get to see if you want to go in detail? So first, because of any injury, there would be a stimulus. So there would be injurious stimulus, any severe stress in the body. Then ATP will be depleted. As a result, you will get to see the ion pump failure happening in. Then ion pump failure will cause the cell swelling being there. Hydropic changes would be there. Remember, in case of apoptosis, there is shrinkage of the cell. In case of necrosis, there is swelling of the cell. Then you have the organelle damage happening in. Then you have the plasma membrane rupturing. After that, leakage of content, and then the inflammation. There are a very clear-cut differences in the steps in the apoptosis and necrosis. In necrosis, because of an injurious stimulus, ATP depletes, ion pump failure occurs, cells swell up, organelles will all get damaged. You'll get to see the lysosome rupturing, causing the hydrolytic enzymes to release, because of which further you have the plasma membrane rupturing. As a result of plasma membrane rupturing, the content in the cytoplasm or the content of the cytoplasm gets released in the nearby surrounding, which causes inflammation, right? Leaked content is going to attack the immune cells, and then you get to see the inflammation in the surrounding cells being there, right? So remember about the step-by-step mechanism. So important features: swelling of cell, nuclear changes, organelle swelling, rupture of membrane, and inflammation. Types we have discussed: coagulative, factive, causave, fat, fibrinoid, all of these. Key points all discussed. Morphological changes discussed. See over here, pycnosis, karyonexia, and karyolysis. You can remember about all these things. Very, very important, very, very